went off to college and ended up dating like my cousin's best friend, like friend of the family. And I think we only dated for like a year and a half. But this is somebody that I was never ever interested in. Like, I wasn't attracted to this person, but they were persistent. And, you know, at that time I was 18, and I guess I just like being in relation. I don't like being alone. It wasn't until later in life that I was like, the singleness is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But back then, no, I was like always in a relationship. And I think I only had like 2 to 3 months in between each relationship. High school relationships and college relationships. Like, I never had longer than 3 months in between, which is not healthy.
Yeah.
But this guy, so we dated, you know, and I ended up getting pregnant. And it was my freshman year. I was living in the dorms, and I was like on the verge of breaking up with him because we had broken up and got together, and you know, that was an old pattern of mine. And so, and then I think he kind of felt like I was going to or something. I don't know, because you can tell when somebody's getting distant and they're like, you know. So we ended up having sex, and he was the first one I experienced, you know, climaxing with. So I was like, okay, so we stayed together for like a year and a half. I was like, this is what they're talking about. Okay, this is good. I could do this. But I got pregnant, and I decided not to keep the baby, and I ended up having an abortion. I didn't share that with a lot of people. Like, very few people knew that I actually did have an abortion. I was telling a lot of people that I miscarried because I think the reason why I lied about it is because I felt ashamed, but I also didn't want the judgment.
Yeah.
And so I just went with that. Oh, I had a miscarriage. And I even told him that too. I didn't even tell him what I really did. Until one day I got really drunk and I was in Las Cruces, and I ended up going over to his place, and I ended up telling him that I had an abortion. And then I started crying because that's what alcohol does. So he knows, but in retrospect, and this is where sometimes I still, even now to this day, I'm like, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but this is how I feel. This is my feelings. I know feelings aren't facts, but this is my reaction. So back then, I did feel ashamed. I felt convicted. I cried for like 2 weeks straight after. And I prayed and I asked God for forgiveness, to forgive me for, you know, killing his creation. And even though I had already asked him for forgiveness, for the years to come, I was asking him for forgiveness like every year.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I still wasn't forgiven.
Would that come close to that time when you did that? Like, so all those memories, or that would always be like, you think of like a birthday or an anniversary or something.
It was December
comes.
because it was winter break, and I went home for winter break from the dorms, and I had my abortion in December during winter break back here in Albuquerque. And so I always remember around that time. So I had the abortion when I was 2 months pregnant, and I would have had a 16-year-old. So Carter's 15, so it would have been 16 and then 15. And I don't know if it was boy or girl because you didn't know at that time. But
you said you've had a feeling.
I always felt like it was a girl. Yeah. Just, you have that mother's intuition, like feeling. I won't know till I die and I'm in heaven and I meet them, because I do believe that I will meet my baby in heaven.
Yes.
And so I, for the longest time, didn't feel like I was forgiven. So I would just ask him every year. And then I stopped one year because I learned that you only have to ask once. God gives us grace, and he knows our heart, and he knows my heart.
Yeah.
And so I needed to realize that I am forgiven, and I just needed to forgive myself because it was me struggling to forgive myself. But then what I was trying to say before is, in retrospect, I don't regret my decision because it brought me to where I am today. I'm the person that does not regret my decisions or choices because I learned from them, and because if I hadn't, I wouldn't have met Carter's dad. I wouldn't have had Carter. I wouldn't have the life that I have now. I wouldn't be on this path that I'm on now if I didn't do that. And my reason for, I know many women have different reasons for aborting, but my reasons were, I felt like I was too young to be a mother.
And but you were 18 at that time?
I was 18.
You were in college?
I was in college.
First year of college?
First year, I leave. I get a taste of freedom, and bam. I'm like, dang it.
And this was the second sexual encounter that you had.
Yeah, second. And so then the other reasons were I was too young, and I wanted to finish school. I wanted to make something of myself. He didn't really come from a really, I wouldn't say good family, but like he came from a family of alcoholism and drug addicts. And I didn't want to raise a child with all of that.
So and that played into your decision.
That played into my decision. And then also the fact that he didn't have a car. He didn't have a job. We used my car. I paid for stuff. Like I did not feel safe with him. I didn't feel secure or that he could even provide. Like there's just a lot of factors. And I'm like, do I really want to struggle for the rest of my life like this and be tied down to this person? That was my mentality at the age of 18. I was like, do I want to be tied down to this person? Is he the kind of man that could be a father figure, that could provide for his family? One, I wasn't serving then, so I wasn't like walking with God then. He wasn't a believer.
Yeah.
I wasn't dating believers. And so because I grew up knowing better, I made that decision. And yes, I made the decision knowing that what God's word says about abortion and death and all of that. But I believe he has forgiven me, and I have already forgiven myself, and I have moved past that. But it took me years.
Yeah.
And I think what got me over the hump to finally forgive myself and feel like I am worthy of his forgiveness. He's already forgiven me. It's like him dying on the cross. It is finished. It's done. He did that for us. He knew all the sins we were already going to make in this lifetime.
Yeah.
He's already died for them. And so me coming to him humbly and asking for forgiveness and showing him my heart is all that he asks. And so I finally wrapped that concept around my brain after years and was like, and then I let it go. And so that was one of the times that I feel like I made a mistake and I struggled to continue my relationship with God because of my past mistakes, because I couldn't get over it. That was just one.
How long did you go through struggle in that mindset or dealing with that after you had the abortion till, like, how long did that affect you? Do you feel?
Oh, I don't know. I was 18, right, when that happened. And then I would say probably still until like my late 20s. It was a while.
So like almost 10 years.
Almost, yeah. Yeah, I would say like 28-ish. Yeah.